All right, so you sent over this piece called Happy New Year 2025, welcoming a year of opportunities and growth.
Yeah.
And wow, there's a lot to unpack here.
Oh, there is.
It's got like all these interesting New Year's traditions, like from all over the place.
Right.
And then talks about resolutions and like why we even do them.
Yeah.
And then it's got all these predictions for what's coming in 2025. So
Yeah.
where do we even begin with all this?
Well, it strikes me is that while we think of New Year's on like our calendar.
The Gregorian one?
Exactly. The Gregorian calendar. The whole idea of celebrating a new year.
Yeah.
It's everywhere.
It is. It's like a universal thing.
Yeah.
Everybody loves a fresh start.
A fresh start. Exactly.
But it's amazing how different cultures mark the occasion.
Oh, absolutely.
Like in Brazil, they jump waves.
They do.
To get blessings from this ocean goddess, Yamanja.
That's right.
Can you imagine?
Thousands of people rushing into the ocean.
At midnight.
Yeah,
That's the thinking there.
Well, I think it's a deep connection with nature.
Yeah.
This belief that the ocean
Yeah.
holds this powerful energy for renewal.
Mm.
It's not just about getting wet.
No.
It's about asking for blessings.
Yeah.
Good fortune for the new year.
Yeah. It's like a
Yeah.
physical way to show hope.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And then there's that tradition in Ecuador
Yes.
where they burn effigies. It's like they're cleaning things out.
It's
Symbolically, like
Yeah.
saying goodbye to the last year.
right to everything.
Good and bad.
The good and the bad, yeah.
And lots of cultures have these kind of rituals, right?
They do.
Like burning things,
Hmm.
throwing stuff into water.
It's a very physical way
Yeah.
to mark that transition.
It's interesting how these traditions connect to something like bigger than
Yeah.
just the calendar,
Yeah.
like primal
Oh,
almost.
most primal, yeah.
And then there's the food.
Oh, yes.
Every culture's got their own good luck charm for the new year.
Hey.
Like in Italy, they eat lentils for wealth.
For wealth.
And in Spain, 12 grapes for each month for good luck.
That's right.
What do you make of all that?
Well, food is so important to us all, right?
Yeah.
So it makes sense that it's part of these celebrations.
Yeah.
I think it adds something real
Yeah.
to an idea that can be kind of abstract.
Yeah.
Hope for the future,
Yeah, good fortune.
Good fortune. Exactly.
Plus, everyone loves a feast.
Oh, absolutely.
But it's not just about how it tastes.
Right.
It's about what it means
Yeah.
eating those foods.
Uh-huh.
It's like a way to really take in those.
You're taking in those wishes
Yeah.
for a good year.
Okay, so we talked about the global party.
Right.
But what about those resolutions
Yes.
that we make? And let's be honest.
Take a break.
And break.
Often.
Often. Yeah.
Yeah.
So those aren't actually a new thing.
No.
This source says that ancient Babylonians were making promises too, like to repay debts and return stuff they borrowed
Interesting.
at the beginning of each year.
Wow.
It's fascinating to see how the focus of those resolutions has changed.
It is.
Back then it was about like settling up.
Right. Making things right.
Yeah, making amends.
Yeah.
But now it's more about,
Self-improvement.
yeah,
Setting goals for the future.
it really shows how our priorities as a society
Have changed.
have changed. Yeah.
Yes.
Like we've gone from making things right
Mm-hmm.
to
Yeah.
wanting something better.
Yes.
Something more.
Absolutely.
And that change in what we care about,
Yeah.
it shows up in the kinds of resolutions people are making for 2025,
But that's right.
according to this source anyway.
Uh-huh.
It's all about health,
Yes.
careers, money, sustainability.
It's all about positive changes.
Yeah, it feels like those are the things everyone's thinking about these days, right?
They are.
Like taking care of yourself
Yeah.
and the planet.
Yeah, exactly.
It's interesting how, even though we've been making resolutions forever,
Forever.
we still haven't figured out how to keep them.
We haven't, have we?
This source has some tips for staying on track, though.
Like what?
Like break down your goals into smaller steps.
Right. Smaller steps.
Yeah, and find someone to hold you accountable.
A buddy.
Yeah, like an accountability buddy.
Accountability buddy, yeah.
Do you think those actually work?
I think they can.
Yeah.
Especially breaking things down into smaller chunks.
Right. Less overwhelming.
It's overwhelming, yeah.
And having someone there to keep you going.
It's a motivator.
It's like having a personal cheerleader.
It is.
Reminding you why you even set those goals.
Exactly.
Speaking of looking ahead,
Yes.
this source makes some really interesting predictions about 2025.
Oh, it does.
It does.
Fill me in.
What caught your eye?
Well, the one about AI and automation, that really jumps out.
It's a big one.
It is. Everyone's talking about it.
Yeah.
And this source says it's going to change everything.
Like in ways we can't even imagine.
Exactly. We can't even imagine. Yeah.
It's kind of exciting,
Yeah.
but also kind of scary, right?
It is a little bit.
Like what's going to happen to our jobs,
Yeah.
our lives even.
Right.
This source makes 2025 sound full of possibilities.
It does.
But also challenges.
Absolutely.
It's a lot to think about.
That is a lot.
Okay, I think we need to pause here for a minute.
Okay.
We've covered so much already.
We have.
Global traditions, revolutions, AI taking over the world.
Maybe.
We'll have to come back to those predictions.
You will.
But before we do, I'm curious.
Yeah.
What stood out to you so far?
What's resonating with you?
Yeah, with all this information we've gone through.
Yeah. So you were saying before the break that AI and automation felt
Yeah, exciting.
exciting.
But also a little, like, nerve-wracking.
Yeah. Yeah, I get that.
What is it about that kind of got to you?
I mean, it is amazing to think about what AI could do, right?
Yeah.
Like maybe it could help us solve some of the world's biggest problems.
Totally. But what if machines can do all our jobs?
Right. That's a big question.
Yeah.
A lot of people are worried about that.
Yeah.
And this source doesn't really give us clear answers.
No.
But it does say that AI and automation will probably create new jobs, too.
So there will be jobs.
Yeah, we just don't know what they'll be yet.
It's like trying to picture the internet
All right.
back before it existed.
Exactly.
Like, who would have thought social media influencer would be a job?
Yeah, exactly.
So it's hard to predict the future.
It is.
But it seems like the skills we need to succeed in a future with AI,
Yeah.
they're going to be different.
Different from what we need now, yeah.
Like maybe creativity will be more important.
Creativity, for sure.
Critical thinking,
Definitely.
problem solving,
Absolutely.
complex problem solving.
Yeah, those kinds of things.
So maybe it's not about robots taking over,
Right.
but more about us and AI
Working together.
working together. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's an interesting way to look at it.
It is.
So maybe AI could free up our time
Right. Free up time.
so we can focus on things that make us human.
Exactly. Like creativity and innovation.
I like that.
Yeah.
Okay, so besides AI,
Yeah.
the source mentioned some other things changing in 2025,
Oh, yeah. Like what?
like a focus on mental health
Uh-huh.
and work-life balance.
Oh, that's interesting.
Why do you think that is?
Well, I think people are starting to realize that well-being,
Yeah.
it's important,
Yeah.
not just for us, but for everyone.
Yeah.
Like, burnout isn't something to be proud of anymore.
Right, it's not a badge of honor.
No, it's not.
And taking care of your mental health is
Yeah.
important for everything.
It is. It's important for being productive.
Yeah.
For being creative.
For being happy.
And for being happy, exactly.
And with technology kind of blurring the lines.
Right, between work and life.
Yeah, it's harder to switch off.
It is. So setting boundaries is important.
Yeah, making time for yourself.
Absolutely.
And this whole work-life balance thing.
Yeah.
It's connected to the prediction about inclusivity and diversity.
Oh, right, right.
The
Yeah.
source says that's going to be a big focus in 2025.
Making things more equal.
Yeah, more
in workplaces and communities.
It feels like we are talking more about this stuff.
Yeah, more open conversations.
Yeah, about representation, equity.
That's a good thing.
It's a good thing.
But do you think these predictions are a bit too optimistic?
Yeah, I mean, is this really happening?
I think it is, actually.
Yeah.
There's definitely movement in that direction.
Yeah.
More companies are focusing on diversity, inclusion, and people are realizing how important representation is.
In everything.
In everything.
In
yeah.
media, politics.
Everywhere.
We've got a long way to go, though.
We do, but it's a positive trend.
Okay, let's switch gears for a minute.
Okay.
Let's talk about the environment.
Yeah.
This source says 2025 is going to be a big year for climate action.
It does. It does.
Like what kind of action?
A big push for net zero emissions.
Wow.
I think that's possible.
I mean, it's a big goal.
It is.
It's going to take a lot of effort
From everyone.
from governments,
Yeah.
businesses,
Businesses. Yeah.
individuals, all of us.
But do you think can be done?
I think it can.
Yeah.
There's a real sense of urgency now
Yeah.
about climate change.
Yeah. And there's so much more investment in renewable energy.
Right, and sustainable technology.
Yeah.
It feels like everyone's starting to realize
Yeah.
we all have a part to play.
Yeah. Whether it's changing our own habits
Yeah.
or speaking up for bigger changes.
Exactly.
So it's about making sustainable choices,
Yes.
holding businesses accountable,
Uh,
pushing for policies that help the environment.
it's a big job,
It's a huge job.
but it's also a chance to make things better.
Yeah, to create a better future.
It's about realizing that we're not just along for the ride.
Right.
We're part of shaping what happens.
Exactly. We're active participants.
That's powerful.
It is.
But it can feel overwhelming, right?
Yeah.
Like, where do we even start?
That's a good question.
This source talks about big global changes.
Right.
But what does that mean for me?
Yeah.
What can I actually do?
That's something we're going to talk about in the last part.
Okay.
But before we do, I'm curious, out of all these predictions,
Yeah.
is there one that really stands out to you?
Good or bad?
Good or bad, yeah.
You know, it's funny. We've been talking about these huge changes coming in 2025.
Yeah.
AI, climate action, work culture, all that.
Mm-hmm.
And it's easy to get kind of overwhelmed by it all.
Yeah, that's a lot.
But like you said, it really comes down to what we each do.
It does.
So how do we actually take these predictions and turn them into something real in our own lives?
Well, this source actually gives us some pretty good advice. It starts with being grateful.
Grateful?
Yeah.
That seems kind of simple.
I know, it sounds a little cliche.
Yeah.
But this source says that taking time to appreciate the good things in our lives, even little things, it can really change how we feel. It helps us see things differently.
Yeah.
Focus on the positive.
Yeah.
Makes us stronger when things get tough.
Okay. I can see how that kind of thinking could help.
Yeah.
Especially with all the uncertainty in the world.
Right, exactly.
So how do we actually practice gratitude?
Well, it's more than just thinking happy thoughts.
Okay.
This source suggests keeping a gratitude journal.
A journal.
Yeah, just take a few minutes each day to write down things you're grateful for. It kind of reinforces the habit.
Yeah, like a mental workout.
Exactly, a mental workout for positivity.
I like that.
Yeah.
So that's a good tangible step.
It is.
And speaking of tangible steps,
Mm-hmm.
this source also talks about the importance of relationships.
Oh, absolutely.
It says strong connections are really important
Yeah.
for dealing with change and uncertainty.
They are.
Makes sense.
It makes sense, especially in a world that can feel so digital.
Yeah.
So disconnected sometimes.
Yeah, so it's about making time for real connections.
That's right.
Whether it's family,
Family, yeah.
friends,
Friends, for sure.
even people we work with.
Yeah, all of that.
So put down the phone, close the laptop,
Uh-huh.
actually talk to people.
Easier said than done, I know.
It is, but I get it.
Yeah.
What else does this source recommend?
Well, it encourages us to embrace growth in 2025.
Growth.
Yeah.
I like the sound of that.
It's a good thing.
But what does that actually mean?
Well, it can mean a lot of things.
Okay.
Like learning something new,
Uh-huh.
picking up a hobby,
Yeah.
challenging yourself mentally,
Mm,
getting out of your comfort zone.
I see.
The important thing is to find something you're passionate about,
Yeah.
something that helps you broaden your horizons.
It's like giving yourself permission to change,
Right.
to evolve.
Yeah. Even when everything around you is changing, too.
Yeah, I like
It's about taking charge of your own journey.
And growth doesn't have to be some big dramatic thing.
No, not at all.
Sometimes it's just those little steps
Yeah, little steps.
that add up over time.
Exactly.
So whether it's learning a language,
Yeah.
writing that book you've always wanted to write,
Uh-huh.
or just going for a walk in nature every day.
It's about those small steps
Yeah.
towards becoming the best version of yourself.
I love that idea.
Yeah.
And as we wrap up this deep dive,
Yeah.
I keep thinking about this question from the source.
Oh, yeah.
It asks, what's one small step you can take today to make this year truly memorable?
That's a great question.
It really gets you thinking, doesn't it?
It does.
It's not about waiting for some big opportunity.
Right.
It's about choosing to make this year meaningful,
That's rare.
purposeful.
Exact.
It's about taking those little steps, knowing they can lead to big changes.
Big, beautiful changes.
So as we say goodbye to 2024
yeah.
and head into 2025,
The unknown.
the unknown, yeah,
It's exciting.
let's remember that we have the power
We do.
to create our own experiences.
Absolutely.
That's a great thought to end on.
It is.
Thank you so much for taking this deep dive with me.
My pleasure.
It's given me a lot to think about as we go into the new year.
Yeah.
And to everyone listening out there,
Yes.
we'd love to hear what you took away from this.
What resonated with you?
What small step will you take
Huh?
to make 2025 truly memorable?
Great question.
Happy New Year, everyone.
Happy New Year.